Good morning. How exciting it is Takeaway Tuesday. My name is Tina Kavergich and I am Northern Stamper. You can always reach me by dropping me an email at northernstamper@gmail.com. I am so excited to be here. Thank you so much for joining me. And today is the annual catalog. It is going live today. How exciting. And now you can see the insides of the catalog. There's so many great things that I love about that's in this catalog. And what I'm going to do is show you one or two things that I think are absolutely fantastic. So if you've been following along on my Takeaway Tuesdays, you'll notice that we used the heirloom arrangement kits for Takeaway Tuesdays in April, and you know what? They were fantastic. I love it. But what I found on page 11, there's a new kit. It's called Sympathy, and so it's all about sympathy and support. Beautiful, beautiful designs of blue and white, and it's called Beautiful Blues Kit. And I am so excited. And I'm thinking of doing this for a Takeaway Tuesday. I don't know when, but I am definitely going to be using this and doing card art alternatives. And I have a feeling I can make actually quite a few of these. So I'm going to be doing that. So I wanted to bring your attention to that. So if you order with me the Takeaway Tuesday, it's going to be $40 with shipping and taxing. If you order with me, northernstamper@gmail.com, I'll kind of discount the shipping and everything like that from the regular $47. Now this has a lot of great things in here, but a couple of things I wanted to point out. On page 30 and 31, they've kind of got some mini scrapbooking. So they got the little albums and so the inserts. But what they have is something called Celebration Memories and More card pack. Now these are super cute. If you're going to do a lot of like informal or like little birthday cards for some kids and stuff, these are really nice. The colors on them are really bright and very happy. And they're really quite nice. And I think we can make quite a bit of them. Now, they are set up to go into a mini album, but you know what? We can also make cards with them. There's so many that you can make cards with. These are great. Like, look at those designs on either side. If you don't like one, just flip it over and take a, oh, we're out of focus there. Flip it over and look what's on the other side. Very cute. These, I think, would make fabulous birthday cards or a mini album for a birthday gift. Like really cool. Easy to do. I wanted to show those to you. Sometimes we look through the catalog and overlook a few things. And I think this one on page 30 and 31 is kind of overlooked. And all right. I don't know about you. I like some of the bling that's in here, but this is really my favorite. On page 43, it is called Flat Pearls. And now these are the in colors. I don't know if you can quite tell. These are absolutely stunning. These are really beautiful. I bought about 6 packs of these. They are really, really nice. I love them, and I'm excited to get started with them. And you know what? Some of them will actually match that Memories and More card pack, like the timid tiger and the darling duckling in here would work really well with that. These are some of a few things that are often overlooked in a catalog, but I don't want you to just kind of zoom through the catalog without taking a really good look. If you don't have a catalog, drop me an email, northernstamper@gmail.com. I'd be happy to send one out for you. Oh, this is so exciting. All right, don't forget, in September, I have a getaway weekend, September 12th to 14th, and this is in London, Ontario. It is you bring your own kind of crafting items for $150 for the weekend, and that includes some of the meals. Like that is a big thing. Really, what you're paying for is basically the meals and a bit of the table. And what you're going to get your own crafting table, a gift, door prizes. There's challenges and games. You're going to get a PDF bundle, Saturday dinner, Sunday lunch, and a hot breakfast buffet. Plus, there's way more. Now, if you've been following my page, you're going to notice that I've already started populating some of the classes that you can join up. Oh, this might be a little small, but there's going to be a Jingle All the Way. It's a holiday head start on your Christmas cards. There's a folio, a mini adventure. What you do is I teach you how to make the folio, but you bring your own paper so you can match whatever you like. Junk journal, we're going to go a little bit into that. Beyond the basic cards, we're going to do some fancy folds. You have access to do a Book of Me experience, and that's self-guided with PDFs, and it includes an album and plastic sleeves. We're going to work on some techniques of enamel effects, or you can sign up for kits, custom, from kits to custom, which are card alternatives. There is so many different things that you could do at this event. I'm very excited to be hosting that. And hopefully you will join me. If you have any questions, northernstamper@gmail.com. But Takeaway Tuesday, here we are, and we are working with the Painted Wishes kit. Now, I love this kit because not only is it a decent price, it is actually $20, like that's a steal. But if you don't have any inks or blocks and stuff, that's okay. This works really well. All you really need is a trimmer. The Painted Wishes we're going to be doing all month long for Takeaway Tuesdays in May. Before I show you the cards, I did want to ask you a couple of things. I'd like to know for Takeaway Tuesdays for June and July, comment below or let me know what you would be interested in learning or crafting about. Now, one of them, I'm looking at that kit, that blue and white kit. I really love it. I don't know when I'm going to do it, maybe June or July. But the opposite month, what would you like to see? Let me know, comment below, or drop me an email, Northern Stamper, and I will try and set it up so that we can do something that you really want to do. Is it a fancy fold? Is it a scrapbook layout? Do you want to do tags? Do you want to do 3D projects? Comment below and let me know so I can start planning. I'm very excited for that. Also, I am so close to the Alaska trip. This is an incentive trip and I work all year long. These videos and everything, this is what I work for, is the incentive trip. I'm so close, but if your order puts me over the goal line, I'm going to give you a shopping spree from me, $120 for anything that you want, from the retiring, from the old, you know what, from anything. You want it from the new catalog, you got it. You can have it from here. You can have it from my store. $120 shopping spree on me if your order places me over the goal line for the Alaska trip. If you have any questions, northernstamper@gmail.com. All right, my ladies, let's give me a thumbs up if you are ready to get started with this lovely, lovely Painted Wishes kit. I am going to make 2 cards today. Yes, I'm making 2 cards today. I'm very excited. I just these kits, I can make like a bazillion cards, but I had to stop somewhere. So today we are making 2 kits, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the items that you're going to need for today's kits, for today's cards. All right, so give me a thumbs up if you're ready. First of all, what we're going to do, there is a package of embellishments. Oh, I love them. Pretty peacock and some dimensionals. We always got to have that for some height. Now, one of the first cards we're going to be using, let's do this one. And what you're going to look for is the card base. Now, this is a petal pink card base, right? We're going to need that. So you want to have that petal pink card base. Now, the next thing you would need is a pretty peacock. Now, in the kit is a card base that is, whoops, out of focus, is a pretty peacock card base. Now, you could use this and sacrifice this card base, but you know what? I'm going to go into my stash and I'm going to use some pretty peacock cardstock instead. You know, totally. If you don't have it, that's okay. Grab the card base. We're going to cut it up and I'm going to show you how. So I got some pretty peacock cardstock and I got my card base. what you're going to do is look through your package, and there's a kind of a square in there with a little bit of green on the bottom, and we're going to be cutting this off. So this is going to be the first card. Okay, so those, oh, the only other thing you're going to need is some of the gold ribbon that comes with it, which is really, really pretty. And if you don't want to use that gold ribbon, oh, you know what? Got to use the gold ribbon, the open weave gold ribbon. You can totally use this one too. It is totally up to you. Both of them look absolutely stunning. Personally, I love the open gold weave ribbon. You also need an embossing folder. Now, look for something that is kind of similar or would match this flower in particular. And I'm going to be using this Starstruck embossing folder. It is retired, but just go through your stash and see what you have, and just grab something that you think is going to look good with this. So before I begin, what I want to do is I'm going to get this card base, the Petal Pink card base. Oh, we're out of focus again. Oh my goodness. Oh my, oh my goodness. The Petal Pink card base. And I'm going to place the front of the card, not the whole card, just the front of the card in the embossing folder. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to line it up there. So there is the fold line for the card. I'm going to line it up, right, just like that. So half of it, the front half, is going to go through the embossing machine. Now, just be aware, wherever the little emblem is, that is going to be the up side. So if you want, I'm just going to place that in there. So I want those flowers to raise up. And it's along this edge of the embossing folder is on the line. And I'm going to be embossing the front of this card. Okay, so let's go place that through. I'm going to place that through. But because we're on video, what I did is I just embossed it, and here it is. Now, remember I told you about the image? So the Stampin' Up! Image embosses up. Well, when I embossed, apparently I did it the other way. So I debossed, which means all of the images went down into the card base. But you know what? That's okay. It's very pretty on the inside. There we go. Great design. So we want to emboss the front of this card, right? Looks great. That's all what we need to do for this part. Let's put this aside for now, because we're going to be doing some cutting and some work on the front of this card. Okay, let's place that off to the side. And okay, what we need, remember this image piece that we have here. What we're going to do is we're going to carefully cut down the side here and cut this portion off. These leaves on the right, we're going to cut them off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it in here. Now I don't have an exact measurement because you're going to eyeball it. And I'm going to place it in here. And let's see if I can get you a measurement. And I had it at 2 and not a half. So it's 2 little marks under the half. So that is 1, 2, 3/8. So it's 2 3/8. Oh my goodness, 2 3/8. Don't you hate it when it's those eights? So let's just write that. So 2 3/8 if you want to be specific on that. So what I'm going to do is cut that right there. I really want to try and keep as much of those leaves on the right hand side as possible. Okay, so I'm going to cut that. So you have this little piece. There's a smidgen of pink, but that's okay. We can leave that. We're going to use this piece on the second card for today. So place that off to the side for the other card. Now, so this is, so we cut it at 2 3/8. I'm going to take it down just a smidgen on the other side. So it's pretty close to the right hand side. I like to make it a little bit more even. So I'm just going to take a smidgen, like 1/8 off, and take a look to see how that is. Okay, not bad, not bad. Could I take another 1/8 off? I could take maybe a smidgen off. very small. I'd rather have you make tiny, tiny, tiny cuts than really big ones. So I'm going to take another 1/8 off from the top and 1/8 off from the bottom. Like tiny little slivers is what you're going to be taking off. I don't want you to do large chunks. I want you to do small little bits. So it kind of frames it in a little bit tighter on this image. Now remember I mentioned about the pretty peacock? You could use this. And what we're going to do is we're going to mat it on here. We want to have a nice frame all around, but I don't want to sacrifice this piece of card base. So I'm going to go in my stash and look for a piece of cardstock instead that is pretty peacock. And what you're going to do is you're going to double check. You're going to look at the numbers and just make it a little larger. And if you want to do this, we can just lay it on top. And I'm looking where the little track is. Okay. Make sure you don't see any white through here if you're just doing it kind of random. So you're looking through the track. There's no white from this piece, and I can cut that. I'm holding it in place, and I'm going to place it in the track, close it up, double check. There's nothing in that track. Okay, that means I'm not going to cut that white piece. And that's one way to cut to make a frame. So there you go. Look at that. Now there's a nice little frame all the way around. Pretty easy. Just be aware that when you look through the track, you don't want to see the top color of the card. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, because I'm going to wrap some ribbon around, I can't glue it down yet. So I'm going to take some of that gold ribbon. Okay. Apparently that's all knotted up. I'm going to take some of that gold ribbon and I'm going to wrap it around the front. My goodness, I think my fingers are just not working today. And I'm going to take it and I'm going to make I'm going to fold it over on two. Do we have some tape? Let's get some tape. It makes it easier. I'm just going to tape it down. You could always glue it, but I don't know, but I find the tape works a little easier to hold on to things. And apparently it is just all over the place. So I'm going to take my piece, double it up. I'm going to wrap it around. That's that little card piece that we cut off. Wrap it around and tape it on the back. My goodness. So just so it's wrapped around. And now I can see how it nicely wraps around. Now I can place it on this mat. There we go. And I can glue it down. Now I can glue it straight down, but what I found with this twine ribbon, it doesn't lay flat. That's a trick I found. It doesn't lay flat because it has some kind of height to it. It's in a very strong, when you feel it, it's a very strong kind of thread, so you can't kind of push it down. So if I can't seem to glue it straight down, so I'm going to put dimensionals on. These are little things you find out when you're making the cards. Now, if I used this gold ribbon, because it is flat, I could like lay it flat and glue it straight down. Okay. And I'm just going to pop that on here. And I'm just going to place that in the center there. Okay. So this way, it doesn't buckle the little piece of paper with this ribbon. And I'm going to add a little bit more to this ribbon. I just wanted to give a shout out to Sharon to let her know that my hubby and son are on their way today to deliver via motorcycle your deliveries. How exciting. If you live within the Durham region area, my husband and kid are very excited to give you special motorcycle deliveries. All right. Oh. Right. So what I also found out about this ribbon, it doesn't like to work very well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double knot it. So I'm going to put a nice knot on there. There we go. Okay. I found that with bows, it kind of slips back on itself. So that's, you know what? All you need to do is have a little glue dot. But I'm going to make this little kind of, I don't know what kind of knot this is. That's terrible for a scouter. I don't know what kind of knot. It's just a regular, let's call it a shoelace knot. And there, it's on there. Okay. So we have this created. It's looking lovely. And now I could easily just pop it on, put a sentiment on, and there we go. But no. I want to do something a little special with this. I'm going to cut this first. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to see how there's so much space on this one side. I'm going to cut that off. And I'm going to cut that at a 1-inch mark. So I'm going to open up my card. And I'm placing it in. There's a 1-inch mark. And I'm just going to cut 1 inch off the front. So I have this strip just like that. Okay. And close that card up. See how it now has a little white strip on the right? And that fits nicely, really nicely in the center. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to glue it to the inside of the card on that right piece where it kind of was sitting by. So I'm going to take it, glue it to the inside. There we go. Just putting it down so it gets all in the little nooks and crannies of that embossing folder. So it's on the inside. Okay, so there we go. And now I can place this on the front. Again, I'm going to give it some height and I'm going to use some dimensionals. Okay. Okay. Going to pop that on there and we're going to sit this in the center. Now in the package has some sentiments that you can choose from, but I'm going to use them on some other cards later in the week, in the month. So I'm just going to grab, okay, you know how much I love this pack of sentiments, right? I'm just going to add a little sentiment on the front. There's a little tiny one that says sending hugs. I could use that. Or let's see what we got here. There's one that says welcome. Oh, that fits too. You know what? I really like these ones that are black and white. Oh, I think I'm going to be using that one. I really like how the black highlights on that. So I'm going to put that on there. And I'm going to have it kind of overhanging a little bit. I'm going to get a dimensional, and I need a small piece because it's a small word. And I'm just going to pop it on there. I don't want to take away too much from that. Such a pretty design. I'm just going to pop it on there. Oh, we need our embellishments. Get those. Okay, and I'm just going to put a couple on. One. Yeah, put a few of these guys on here. And that is the first card. Like, I love it. The color combination is fantastic on that. I think it's great. And I think this little strip on the side gives it a little bit of a design. Again, the embossing folder really, I think, adds something to that. So that is the first card for today. Let's make card number 2. Okay. And where is that? Now, for card number 2, I have that pretty peacock card base. So you need one of those. And do you remember that strip we just cut off from the first card? We're going to put it on there. Now I want something on the top here, and I want to replicate this on from the bottom. So I'm going to go into the pack again and look for another piece. And what we're going to do, just like we did the first card, going to line it up and cut down. We're going to use this left piece for another card later in the month, but we want this one in particular, which is on the right side. So let's take this. I'm going to cut it again. What was that? 2 3/8, wasn't it? It was 2 3/8. I'm going to cut it at 2 3/8. There we go. because I want 2 of these really pretty leaves. So again, make sure you save this for a card we're going to make later in the month. Okay, so I got 1, 2, going to put them like this. I also have this I want to say I don't want to say Granny Apple Green. It matches one of some of the leaves in there. And I'm also going to look for the sentiment. I'm going to take one of the long sentiments. The long sentiments work best with this design, what we're going to do. And what I'm going to do is take some of this. I'm going to make a little mat. So I'm going to measure this. And again, I'm going to lay it on here. And I just need a little bit. So let's kind of put it just at 1 1/8. 1 1/8. Keep this for later. We need it for another card. So I got it 1 1/8. Okay. So what I'm going to do is there's 2 things that we can do for this card. Now you can just place these all together and put it on just so it's like that. Looks kind of cool. You'll never notice that they're 2 pieces separated, right? You could do that, but I'm going to add a little bit of a design to it. So what I'm going to do is place these on. Okay. And I'm going to make a little mark. I'm going to move this one on the bottom. So there's the top one. I'm going to put my sentiment down and I'm going to make a little mark. I'm going to grab a pencil. I'm going to grab a pencil that actually has a point on it. And I'm going to make a little mark here, just where that sentiment kind of clears. And I'm going to cut this bottom portion off. So let's take a look. So I just made a little mark on the bottom. I'm going to put that in the trimmer and I'm going to cut it off. And it looks to be at 1, oops, where's the pencil? 1 1/2. We're going to be cutting off at 1 1/2. Okay. Let's bring in those pieces again. Again, laying out that on the top. I'm going to lay that down and I'm going to glue it because I know that that's where it's going to go. Let's glue that down. I want to have a nice little edge on the top. I don't want to butt it up against the fold line. Okay. I'm going to take that piece that we cut off. I'm going to glue on to the inside of the card, kind of like we did the first card. Okay. And I want to make sure that it's going to fit properly. Place it in here. And I'm going to glue it. And I'm going to bring it butt up to that spot, right up to that edge, because I want a bit of framing on the bottom. So I'm going to bring it kind of right up to where it is. You can see it's right up to the edge there. So a little bit of framing. Okay. And all I need to do is glue this on to that strip. There we go. I want to have a nice edge on the top and bottom. Let's get some dimensionals and we'll glue that onto the front. Oops, it's got legs. It's going places. Okay. And I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back here. And I'm going to glue that to the front of the card. Oh, it's moving. And we're going to just pop that on. And again, it's going to be the illusion that this is one card on the front, but no, really it is not. So that kind of gives you the illusion of the one card on the front. We want to have a nice edge on the top and bottom. We can add a couple of embellishments. And there we go. If you want, you can add a little bow, but I kind of like it just the way it is. I really love the colors of these leaves and the pretty peacock. I think it looks like a really nice color combination. So those are the two cards today. Very simple, kind of cutting the front of the card away and just using that. So don't forget to set aside those pieces that were reserved that we had left over. We're going to need them for other cards. Uh, if you have any questions, you could drop me an email at northernstamper@gmail.com. If you have any questions about the cards that I created, the kit, the upcoming event, or anything, or you just want to chat or come for a visit, I would love to have you. I have an open house coming up at the end of the month, so if you're in the Durham region and you're close by, come on over for a visit. Anyways, thank you for joining me, and I hope this has given you a few ideas to use with the Painted Wishes kit. I love this kit, and I am like really thrilled to show you these. Join me next week where I'm going to make 2 more cards using the Painted Wishes kit. Until then, my friends, have a great day, and I'll see you next time.